All right, if you've been searching, can myEcon help if you keep getting denied for credit? myEcon denied credit. Can myEcon help with bad credit denials? Why do I keep getting denied financially? Or can myEcon help improve my financial options? I'm going to make this video for you because getting denied over and over does something to people. It's not just inconvenient. It gets inside your head. At first, it's just frustrating. Then it becomes embarrassing. Then after enough times, it becomes familiar. That's when it gets dangerous because once denial starts feeling familiar, a lot of people stop thinking, how do I fix this? And start thinking, this is just the way my life is. And that shift right there will wreck people. So when somebody starts looking at myEcon after getting denied again and again, they're not just looking for information. They're looking for a way out of a pattern that has started messing with their confidence. That's the real issue. So let me get straight to it. Can myEcon help you if you keep getting denied for credit? Yes, for the right person, it absolutely can. But not because it's a shortcut. Not because it magically changes everything overnight. Not because getting denied once or 10 times suddenly disappears the second somebody joins something, right? It can help because a lot of people who keep getting denied are not just dealing with one rejection problem. They're dealing with a bigger picture that they don't fully understand, that they haven't fully faced or have been reacting to emotionally instead of strategically. That is where people get stuck, right? Now, let me say this clearly because a lot of people feel this way. If you keep getting denied, it does not automatically mean you are reckless or hopeless or financially doomed, but it usually means that there's something off, something in the way your financial life is being seen, something in the way your history looks, in the way your money is flowing, something in the way your profile is being judged. And if nobody helps you understand that clearly, then every denial just feels like another personal hit, right? That's why this topic matters. Because people do not just get denied for loans. They get denied for peace of mind. They get denied for momentum, right? They get denied for confidence. They get denied and start shrinking. They stop applying. They stop asking. They stop trying. They start assuming the answer is no before anybody even says it. That is what repeated financial rejection does. It trains people to expect less. And once that happens, the damage is not just external anymore. Now it's internal too. That's why this conversation matters so much, right? That's why I make so many videos around credit. Now, the first way that myEcon can help if you keep getting denied is through helping you understand what may actually be getting judged. A lot of people who get denied are just operating in the dark, right? They know the answer was no, but they don't really know what the no was attached to. Was it utilization? Was it credit history, collections, late payments, debt load, income structure? Was it something else in the overall financial picture? A lot of people never truly get clear on that. They just keep hearing denied and feeling crushed by it. That's a problem, right? Because if you don't understand what keeps hurting you, every next move becomes emotional guesswork. And emotional guesswork gets expensive, right? People start assuming, they start panicking, they start taking random advice. They start reacting to symptoms instead of understanding causes. That's how people stay stuck for years. So when something helps people start seeing their financial position more clearly, that's a good thing because vague pain keeps people frozen. Clear pain can at least be addressed. And the second way that myEcon can help is through breaking the emotional cycle that denial creates. This is one of the biggest parts that people don't talk about enough. Repeated rejection changes behavior. It makes people hesitant. It makes people defensive. It makes people bitter. It makes people assume they are disqualified from better outcomes. And once that mentality shows up, they stop moving like somebody who is rebuilding, right? They start moving like somebody who is already defeated. And that is brutal because now the person is not just carrying a financial problem. They're carrying a financial identity wound. They start seeing themselves through the lens of every no they have ever heard. That messes with everything. It messes with how people apply, how people think, how they plan. It messes with what people believe is possible. So when somebody starts learning how to see their situation with more accuracy instead of just through the emotional bruising of repeated denial, that matters because if the mind stays trapped in rejection, the person is going to stay trapped too. Another way that myEcon can help if you keep getting denied for credit is through improving how you think about positioning. Now, a lot of people think money problems are just about effort. Work harder, make more, try again, push more. But financial outcomes are often about positioning. How do you look on paper? How do your habits show up? How do your patterns show up? What does your financial profile tell people before you ever even speak? That matters a lot. And people who keep getting denied, they never really stop to think about themselves this way. They only feel the rejection. They don't study the positioning. And it's a huge difference because somebody who understands positioning can start asking smarter questions. Not why is the world against me, but what keeps putting me in this weak position? What do I need to improve? What exactly needs to change if I want better outcomes next time? That's a much stronger place to think from. Now, let me ask you something here, and I want you to answer this in the comments because I think a lot of people watching this have felt this exact thing, but probably never say it out loud. What hurts more when you keep getting denied? The financial setback itself, or the feeling that something about your life is being judged every time? Drop your answer to that in the comments because I think a lot of people, it's not just about the application for a lot of people. It's about what the application seems to say about them. That emotional side is heavier than what most people will admit. Now, the fourth way that myEcon can help is through helping people stop making desperate moves after the rejection. Getting denied makes people do dumb things, right? Not because they're dumb, but because they're hurt, frustrated, they're scrambling. They apply in the wrong places. They take bad offers. They act from urgency. They make emotional moves just to avoid feeling stuck. That happens all the time. And repeated denial makes people more vulnerable to bad decisions because now they're not thinking. They're not thinking what is smart. They're thinking what gets me out of this hurt feeling fastest, right? That's dangerous because what feels relieving in the moment is not always what helps long term. So when something helps a person slow down, think straighter, and stop letting rejection push them into reactive behavior, that matters because a lot of financial damage is not created by one big mistake. It's created by a string of smaller, desperate ones. The fifth way that myEcon can help if you keep getting denied for credit is through restoring a sense that progress is still possible. This may be the most important part of this whole video. A lot of people who keep getting denied start quietly giving up, not publicly, maybe not even consciously, but inside, yeah, they stop expecting better. They stop reaching for better. They start lowering what they think is possible for them. That's the real cost of repeated denial, not just the missed approval, the shrinking of the person. That is what hurts. Because once somebody starts adapting to rejection as their normal, they stop living like someone building towards something better. They start living like someone managing disappointment. That is a terrible way to live. So if something helps a person move from confused and discouraged to informed and active, that matters because hope is not just some soft emotional thing. Hope changes behavior. People who believe improvement is possible move differently. They ask better questions. They prepare better. They learn more. They stop collapsing every time a door closes. And that mentality shift matters. Now, another way that myEcon can help is through helping people see that denied is not a permanent identity. Now, this one's going to hit deep. A lot of people hear no, and they hear it often enough that they stop hearing it as an answer and start hearing it as a definition. Denied for the car, denied for the apartment, denied for the card, denied for the refinance, denied again. After a while, they stop feeling like someone experiencing setbacks. They start feeling like someone who is not approved for life. And that is heavy. And it's also false because denied is a condition, not an identity. But people forget that when it keeps happening over and over again. So one of the most powerful things any real process can do is help somebody separate what happened to them from who they are. And that matters because once the person stops wearing denial like a label on their forehead, they can start thinking clearly again. Now, let me talk about expectations, because this is where people can sabotage themselves very fast. If you keep getting denied and you're looking at myEcon, you need to think clearly. This is not about instant reversal, right? It's not about pretending a long pattern gets erased in one emotional moment. This is not about fantasy, right? This is about asking much better questions. Can this help me understand what is hurting me? Improve how I'm positioned? Make smarter decisions? Move towards better outcomes over time? That's the right question. And for the right person, yes. But if somebody is looking for immediate emotional revenge on every past denial, they're going to stay disappointed. There's nothing out there that will help that, because healing financial patterns is different from emotionally trying to prove something. One is real, the other is just ego pain, and people need to know the difference. Now, who is myEcon most likely to help when repeated denials for credit are involved? The person who is tired of not understanding what is working against them. The person who wants more clarity. The person who is willing to learn. The person who is ready to improve their financial picture instead of just resenting it. The person who does not want to stay trapped in the emotional fallout of repeated no's. That person can benefit. Who is it probably not going to help much? It's not going to help the person who wants a fantasy reversal. The person who refuses to look honestly at their situation. It's not going to help the person who keeps making emotional choices and expecting strategic results. It's not going to help for the person who wants to keep blaming the outside world without ever examining what keeps putting them in the weak position in the first place. That person is going to struggle no matter what, because no system can fully help somebody who refuses reflection. That needs to be said clearly. So let me answer this question directly. Can myEcon help if you keep getting denied for credit? Yes. If what you need is more clarity, stronger financial awareness, better positioning, smarter decisions, and a way to stop letting rejection define how you think about your future. No, it's not going to help if what you want is a fantasy shortcut that avoids the real work of understanding and improving what keeps producing those denials. That's the real answer. And honestly, this is why more people need to stop asking only, how do I get one yes? And start asking, how do I stop showing up in ways that keep producing no's? That is the tougher question, but it's also the more powerful one, because repeated denial is not just a money issue. It becomes a confidence issue, a behavior issue. It's a mindset issue, a self-image issue. And if somebody is finally ready to face the whole pattern instead of just chasing the next approval emotionally, that is where real change begins. So if you keep getting denied and you're wondering whether myEcon could help, here's the truth. It can help if you're willing to learn, get honest, improve your position, and stop letting rejection train you to expect less from your life. That is where the value is. So if this video helped you, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button for me, because I'm building this playlist in a way to break myEcon down in a real world, no BS way. And again, answer this in the comments. What hurts more when you keep getting denied for credit? The financial setback itself, or the feeling of being judged every time? That is a conversation that a lot of people need to have. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.